Angelo Bavaro. President Trump holding a cabinet meeting yesterday where he called for the return of the death penalty in the nation's capital. It comes as D.C. sees its first homicide in nearly 2 weeks.
That shooting took place early Tuesday morning after midnight when an adult male was found unconscious but breathing in Anacostia off Minnesota Avenue in southeast D.C. He later died in the hospital. The White House says there's been over 1,000 arrests this month since President Trump ordered those reinforcements to help D.C.'s police force, which is 800 cops short. Trump says Republican House and Senate leaders are working on a new legislation to fight crime. Posting last night, Speaker Mike Johnson and Leader John Thune are working with me and other Republicans on a comprehensive crime bill. It's what our country needs, and now more to follow. Make America great again.
Fox's Lucas Tomlinson. Washington, D.C. does not have the death penalty, but the Trump administration has been pushing police to charge suspects with federal crimes, some of which do carry the death penalty. City officials continue to argue that crime had already been falling. President Trump is facing a legal challenge to his attempt to fire a Federal Reserve board member.
The president says his removal of Lisa Cook as a Federal Reserve Board governor is not related to her opposition to lower interest rates.
We need people that are 100% above board, and it doesn't seem like she was.
President Trump cites an allegation of mortgage fraud by Cook for her dismissal, an accusation Cook denies. Her attorney says she will sue to prevent an unlawful firing. President Trump told reporters he is considering a replacement for Cook. Her term on the Fed does not expire until 2038. At the White House, Jared Halpern, Fox News.
Cook was appointed by President Joe Biden in 2022. America is listening to Fox News.
We all know the importance of good daily habits, whether it's getting your steps in, stretching those limbs, or eating right. Doing it on the regular is key. That's why if you're dealing with everyday aches and pain, it's time to bring Relief Factor into your routine. Relief Factor is a daily supplement that fights pain naturally. Developed by doctors, Relief Factor uses a special formula of 4 natural ingredients. Relief Factor doesn't just mask pain, it helps reduce or even eliminate it. In fact, the longer you take it, the more effective it is. So call 1-800-4-RELIEF and try their 3-week quick start for only $19.95. That's less than $1 a day. Simply call 1-800-4-RELIEF. That's 1-800-4-RELIEF. Wherever you're having pain, don't let it keep you from living the life you want. Make Relief Factor part of your daily routine. Go to ReliefFactor.com or call 1-800-4-RELIEF. That's 1-800-4-RELIEF.
President Donald Trump discussing potential further sanctions on Russia as he continues his push for peace with Ukraine. The president also weighing a meeting with North Korea's leader this year.
With this month's trip to Alaska, Vladimir Putin may have delayed punishment for invading Ukraine, but President Trump is still considering adding new sanctions or new tariffs to Russia if they do not end the war there soon.
There could be very big consequences, but we'll see what happens.
President Trump is also now eyeing a reunion with the man his first predecessor, Barack Obama, warned him would cause as many problems as anybody in the world. That is North Korea's dictator, Kim Jong-un. We don't have any more specifics other than that, end of the year, about when President Trump would like to get together again with Kim Jong-un, or whether or not he would like to venture again into the DMZ like he did in his first term.
Fox's Peter Doocy at the White House. Liftoff for SpaceX after a series of setbacks. Fox's Kristen Goodwin.
SpaceX launching its massive Starship rocket into space.
We lift off.
Cheers heard throughout the mission as the Super Heavy rocket booster splashed down in the Gulf and as Starship deployed its simulated or mock Starlink satellites into orbit, making its way back to Earth.
There's a splashdown.
Splashing down in the Indian Ocean. The flight comes after the company called off 2 earlier launches this week over ground system issues and weather. Kristen Goodwin, Fox News.
SpaceX CEO Elon Musk hoping to use that rocket to take people to Mars, and NASA hoping to use it to land astronauts on the moon. I'm Angelo Bavaro, and this is Fox News.
Good Wednesday morning to you. August 27th, 2025. You're listening to The Morning Show with Slim and Al on Talk 104 FM, 930 AM WKCT. Good morning, Al Arbogast.
Good morning.
How are you, sir?
I'm fine, thank you so much.
Did you have a good Tuesday?
We did. We had a successful Tuesday. We had Lily had questions about her new laptop, and we got those taken care of.
Awesome. And did you solve those, or did you call a phone number? Did you go somewhere?
I helped solve them by taking her to a place where they were solved.
Well, fantastic.
Yes.
Fantastic. I always think those things are easier face-to-face, one-on-one. I realize we live in a world where we're supposed to call, or even one of my favorites is get help online.
Yeah.
Well, I'm struggling with the computer. So
I love it. I love it on the online when you're on, maybe let's say you're doing some banking or you're paying a credit card bill online, and a little box over to the right. Can we help before you log off? Let us. You have some questions? No, I don't have questions. Click. 2 seconds later, they're back. Do you have some questions?
Do you remember the paper clip that used to be? It was an animated paper clip.
Animated paper clip.
What do they call that when they? I've lost the word. That when you make something that is not alive, or personification, they personify the paper clip in Microsoft.
Yeah.
It was back in the early 90s. It was when Microsoft was really kind of expanding and things. And that I feel the same way when I see these boxes pop up, because it was there to help. I don't need help right now. Mm-hmm. Click. Mm-hmm. I don't know what I did in the next 30 to 60 seconds, but it came back to ask me if I needed help.
Well,
again.
I guess in the early, if you're talking about
it was hard to disable it.
Yeah.
It was hard to say, I don't need help.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. I wonder if you used stronger language.
Yeah.
that would work.
I like to try that. It generally solves no problems.
Yeah.
And just, as Linda Rose would say, makes you look uneducated. That is what she said about foul language.
Yeah, I think she was.
If you can't find better words than that to use, Brian Lee.
Oh, Brian. Oh, yeah.
Brian Lee, when
Double
she'd
name.
roll that out, then you just shouldn't speak.
Yeah.
Because it just makes you look uneducated.
Mm-hmm.
I suppose she's right. I'm doing it daily. I wanted to... Poor woman did all she could.
I know.
Mama tried.
Merle
Haggard wasn't lying. Mama tried. Well, I wanted to pick up where we were leaving off yesterday. You said you hadn't heard it. It made me think that maybe other people hadn't heard about this. But a 14-year-old boy has been arrested when in Mayfield, Kentucky, at a Mayfield-Graves County football game, a football game between the two schools. It was being billed as, because they're both right there, two battles, one community. The night started off really positive. There is evidently a student at the school who is struggling with some stage 4 bone cancer. He was named honorary captain of the team, and he got to achieve a lifelong dream to join one of the teams as they ran out of the tunnel during the pregame. The coach says that that's one thing he always wanted to do, and good Lord willing and praying for it, he'll do it again next year. And so lots of things seem to be going their way, going the way of the game. Now, the game was a blowout. I don't remember the score now, but it wasn't close. They were in the fourth quarter when this happened, so it wasn't, and didn't have anything to do with the game.
Do we know what it had anything to do with?
So far, what we know, and I want to say that, so far what we know is that a 14-year-old has been arrested for being the one who shot the gun at an 18-year-old, and the 18-year-old had been into some kind of physical altercation with another 14-year-old. And everywhere it's been described as in the parking lot, except in the local newspaper. So every media report, and I tend to think in cases like this, local newspapers probably know better. Because in the local newspaper, it says that the shooting took place in the end zone infield that surrounds War Memorial Stadium, and it left one person injured, not from a gunshot wound, but from the panic that ensued. Somebody was injured. So I had heard in every report, I mean, I'm looking at multiple reports about this, and all of them describe it as in the parking lot, which I thought unusual, and I still don't know which it is because there's only one source that is saying. But I watched the video. It was being filmed, as most high school football games are now, that they're filmed so that the team can watch it later, and maybe they're even putting it out on some kind of public access or internet channel, YouTube, something like that. And so in the video, you don't. I could not hear the gunshots very well, but you could clearly hear them. They could hear them on the field because people just started running. I mean, you heard someone yell gunshots, and then players scattered. In some cases, having to help younger kids over fencing, that kind of surrounds the field and different things like that. But the Paducah Sun is describing a shooting that took place in the end zone infield that surrounds War Memorial Stadium. There was only 6 minutes to play in the fourth quarter, and the shooting again has nothing to do with the game. It has to do with people with an adult, at least one 18-year-old, and a couple of 14-year-olds having an altercation. Where does a 14-year-old get a gun to bring to a football game? I'm going to assume this is not a rifle.
Yeah.
Okay, because I think, Graves County, Paducah, West Kentucky, hunting is popular not only there, but around Kentucky, around the United States. But this does not. The gun has not been described. But I can't imagine a 14-year-old took a long gun, because I don't know what it was, to a football game, and nobody would notice that. Now, I suppose there could be the possibility it was in the back seat of a car or in a trunk, and he saw his buddy being beat up, and he said, I'm going to solve this problem, and went to get it. But my guess is, and I'm guessing, not trying to go off the proverbial bridge, but I am guessing here that it was a handgun. And I think society needs to know where 14-year-olds are obtaining handguns and why they're able to do so. Whether he got it from his own home, whether he broke in and stole it, whether he bought it from someone. I want to know what level of access there is to handguns out there to a 14-year-old, because my guess is there's an adult involved somewhere.
Probably a young adult. That's what I'm thinking.
And if that's
somebody who's 18 or 19, 20 years old,
right?
That's what
and
I don't know.
There's been no discussion of that. There have really not been a lot of media articles since the young man was arrested and jailed in the juvenile detention center because of the laws in Kentucky. Since the person is a juvenile, we don't know anything about them other than their age. Their age and their gender, we don't even know race. Age and gender, I think, is all that has come out. I think one could know the race of the person. And I don't know what it is. Don't want to speculate on what it is. But I hope that there will be an investigation into where the gun was obtained and accountability for that. I think very often when we see these types of shootings, school shootings, supermarket shootings, movie theater shootings, we track it down and we know information about it when it's an adult. You know, I think about the Louisville shooting at the bank 2 years ago.
I don't remember the number of years. Yeah.
But, you know, we know that guy went and bought that gun on his own and in the gun store that he bought it from. It seems to me...
And he had mental problems, and that still didn't stop him.
And but I don't see that level of attention given when it's a juvenile
probably
who
because it gets all closed up. I mean, how do you... Well, I agree. It wouldn't be it would be a good idea to find out how he got the gun, where he got the gun, because maybe there's an adult that needs to be prosecuted as well.
That's what. If we're not going to have gun control, and it does not look like in this country we're not going to have significant gun control. It does not look anywhere near on the horizon. If we're not, then our only way to address these things is to hold the owners of the guns responsible for what happens with their gun. Now, if this turns out, hey, he broke into a house and he stole the gun, I don't think you can hold somebody responsible for that. I mean, they are a victim of a crime. I wish more guns had gun locks on them, but I'm also a realist that if you have a gun lock on your gun, it's not much use in defending yourself in the heat of the moment. You know, nobody pauses while you get, your lock off your gun, however it is. Combination key, handprint, whatever it may be, fingerprint. And so I see the downside of that, but I think we need to look into it. And
what I find you made it sound as if it was sort of the story that you said that there was another 18-year-old assaulting a friend of the 14-year-old shooter.
Yes.
That sounds like a spur of the moment kind of thing. But so why did the kid have the gun to begin with at the ball game?
Right.
Not only where did he get it, but why did he have it there?
Right.
Sounds to me like something had been going on for a while.
I think.
And then my other question is, where does a 14-year-old get the idea that it's a good idea to solve problems with a gun?
Right.
Not only where did you get the gun, but why did you think that was a good idea?
This may be an unpopular opinion, and I'm open to criticism for it. I think that there are more young people carrying guns in the United States than we can even imagine. I think it's happening right here in Bowling Green, Kentucky, Warren County, Kentucky, and I think it's happening in cities and counties all across the United States.
Yeah.
The young people have a gun on them, and I'm not suggesting 50%.
You're talking beyond, you're talking about on their person as opposed to kids who used to come to school with guns in their gun rack in the back of the
That's
pickup
exactly
truck.
right. I'm talking.
And nobody thought anything of it.
That's right. No, I'm telling you, I stood in my high school parking lot.
Yeah.
And held a long rifle in my hand, was not particularly skilled at it. It wasn't loaded, so unskilled at the time that I kind of like swung around with it and pointed at somebody and learned right then the valuable lesson. You don't point a gun at anybody at any time, unless you're planning on shooting that person. So much so that the stock of the gun hit me in the chin. I was like, what?
Oh, they hit
the gun down. Because I'm just kind of like, what kind of gun is it? And I'm out here swinging it around and, looking down the sight like I know what I'm doing. I don't know what I'm doing. And there were at least 2 guns at that time because they were traded. Mm-hmm. There might have been more. I don't remember. But I know that those 2 boys traded those guns. And I held one of them and swinging it around in my high school parking lot. It seems surreal to me now. I mean, it just seems bizarre that you could do that given what we know now. At that time, it was not. Nobody was concerned.
No.
I mean, and what changed? I don't know. I think it's a multitude of things that have changed. But if we're not going to implement gun control, then I think our only chance of trying to control the use of guns in ways like this, shooting in parking lots or infield end zones or other places like that, is to hold the gun owners responsible for what is happening with their gun if it wasn't stolen. If they're not the victim themselves, but if somebody's out there selling this gun, or if this gun is laying around this kid's own house, I've got a problem with it. And maybe you don't. And I mean, collectively, maybe society doesn't. But if something has to be done, I don't think anybody wants children to be scared at a football game.
Yeah.
I don't think anybody wants that. And so just saying, well, but it's part of society, I agree with you. But I also think it's something that we should look at and continue to address. Maybe focus on things like that rather than drag queens. And I mean that. We spend a lot of time on drag queens for no reason. I mean, it's just not an issue. 622. This news with Al Arbogast is brought to you by Hospice of Southern Kentucky. Go to hospice.soky.org to learn more. Al?
Warren County Public School Board has voted against partnering with a Christian nonprofit.
The Ohio-based LifeWise Academy had planned to host optional off-site Bible education for first and second graders at Alvaton Elementary School. The program would be possible because of the recently passed Kentucky Senate Bill 19, which allows public school students to leave school an hour early once a week for district-approved moral instruction. The school board has now voted against the LifeWise partnership in a split decision of 3-2. Amy Duvall and Gary Chaffin both voted in favor, while Jen Cash, Thomas Manko, and Adam Jackson voted in opposition. Thomas Manko explained that he has reservations over the new law and its lack of clarification on what moral instruction means. Jen Cash worries about possible safety issues related to students leaving school and being supervised by people other than district employees. In explaining her yes vote, Amy Duvall said that the LifeWise program has shown success in other states and that it would not interfere with anyone's religious freedoms since it is optional. LifeWise Academy Director Rachel Motes says that the nonprofit welcomes all families, employs strictly vetted staff, and works hard to ensure compliance with federal and state regulations regarding student transportation. Motes says the nonprofit will address the school board's concerns and make its proposal again at a later meeting. I'm Ford Parson.
Attorneys say that an upcoming murder trial in Warren Circuit Court may have to be delayed. 27-year-old David Anthony Prophet is currently scheduled to stand trial beginning September 23rd. He is accused of killing his girlfriend, Alexandra Hemon, in August of 2023 and then stealing her financial cards and vehicle. During the hearing on Monday, Commonwealth's attorney Corey Beck Bumgardner explained that the medical examiner who performed Hemon's autopsy will be unable to testify in person. Bumgardner has moved to depose the examiner, which would allow her testimony to be pre-recorded. However, defense attorney Jill Elkind objected to this motion and said that the medical examiner should testify in person. Bumgardner says if the medical examiner cannot be deposed, then the trial will have to be delayed or postponed until she is available. Judge Chris Corrin said that he will schedule another hearing to consider Bumgardner's motion for deposition and any motions from the defense. Besides murder, Prophet is also charged with abuse of a corpse, first-degree strangulation, theft by unlawful taking, and 3 counts of second-degree forgery. He has previously declined to plea to a plea offer that would have recommended 50 years. We are 26 minutes now after 6 o'clock at Talk 104.93 WKCT.
Liberty Imaging is not your typical printing and apparel company. Their 8-station, 7-color screen printing press enables you to place your logo or images on many types of apparel. They specialize in screen printing and embroidery that makes a statement and conveys your marketing message through various clothing options, including hats and shirts. And when it comes to signs, look no further than Liberty Imaging. By using computer-driven holters and a wide selection of self-adhesive vinyl, they can create signs to meet your exact specifications. Visit their website to learn more at libertyimaging.com.
Talk 104.93 WKCT.
The Bowling Green City Commission is spending $2.8 million for several pieces of needed equipment. City Manager Jeff Meisel told the commission that new fire trucks are needed at Fire Station 3 on Nashville Road and Station 4 on Morgantown Road.
It takes about 3 years to get these jokers put together and delivered, but we're here to get this ball rolling on these two apparatuses. We're looking at roughly $2.4 million for both of them, about $1.2 million each. Part of this municipal order is our intent to finance. We go out and do usually a 10-year financing on these trucks, recommending the Houston Galveston Area Council cooperative purchasing agreement to use on this one. To get the Pierce brand truck through Atlantic Emergency Solutions.
Meisel says another $232,000 is needed for a new knuckle boom for debris removal. With this purchase, the city manager says that the city will have 3 knuckle booms. The city will also spend $136,475 with Kenny Machinery Corporation for the Parks and Recreation Department's golf turf maintenance projects. Al Arbogast, Talk 104.93 WKCT.
This forecast is brought to you by Ernest's Barber Shop. 5638 Scottsville Road, across from TSC and next door to the post office. On tap for today, looking at your 5-day forecast. Starting with Wednesday, that's today, high 81, low 55, no chance of rain. Tomorrow, Thursday, high 84, low 56, no chance of rain. Friday, high 86, low 60, 5% chance of rain, 0 on Friday night. Saturday, high 84, low 59, 5% chance of rain throughout the day and the evening. Sunday, high 84, low 60, 5% chance of rain day and night. And Monday, 86 is your high, 61 is your low. Rain chances increase, but only to 10% day and night. It has been some nice weather. Again, driving in the morning, I find it most nice in the mornings and in the evenings. But this false fall that we're having.
Are y'all sitting out on that back patio again?
We were sitting out there on the back patio again. It was real nice.
That's really
nice. It was real nice. We also watched a little Andy Griffith last night, and that inspired us to get out there on the back.
Now, do you have a pit burn pit thing?
I do. Well, it's a fireplace.
Yeah,
not a brick one, but just
I guess that would not. I don't know if that would be allowed or not. We have an open burn ban right now.
I'm not burning anything right now. So
good.
let's don't send Doug Gorman to the house. Okay, I promise. I'm not burning.
After I said that, I thought, wait a minute, there's a burn ban.
Some of the time,
I hope he didn't say yes.
Yeah, that's right. Stop drawing me into admitting things.
Yeah.
Now, this forecast brought to you by Ernest's Barber Shop. Think a trim's just a trim? Not at Ernest's Barber Shop. With over 20 years snipping and styling, Ernest's got the chops to keep you looking sharp. Swing in and meet the new guy, Andy Croft. He's got the magic touch with the clippers too. And we can't forget Jasper. He's always snipping around to make you smile. Ernest's open Tuesday through Friday, 8 to 5, and Saturday till 11:30. Across from Greenwood High School. Head on over to Ernest's Barber Shop today. This grain report brought to you by Best One Tires Glasgow.
Time for your Ag Edge Grain Market Report with Alan Watts and Ben Westerfield. Brought to you in part by Hopkinsville Elevator, Commonwealth Agri-Energy, Agri-Chem, and HEC Crop Insurance.
Well, it's a Tuesday, Mr. Ben Westfield. How's the Chicago Board of Trade today?
A little sideways trade in Chicago this morning. Not a lot of activity. September corn unchanged, 389.25 on the board. Christmas corn down a half at 411 3/4. March futures down a penny at 428 3/4. May futures unchanged at 439. July unchanged at 446 1/4. September 26 up a half at 447. December 26 corn unchanged at 455. Right now, September wheat down a penny, 506. December's off 3/4 at 529. March futures also off 3/4 at 546 1/4. July 26 wheat down a half at 566 1/2. This morning, November beans are climbing 3, 10.50 1/2 on the board. January futures up 3 at 10.70 1/2. March futures up 2 1/4 at 10.86. May futures up 2 1/4 at 10.97. August 26, 11.01 this morning, up 4. And the November 26 bean futures, 10.76 1/2 on the board. They're 4 cents firmer in the overnight trade.
You're listening to your Ag Edge Grain Market Report.
At Channel, we always show up for our farmers. Is that tar spot or rust?
Incoming!
Definitely rust.
Rick, how did you? Dropping in to check on your crop, Bill. Let's call your agronomist before that rust can hurt your yield.
That sounds great. But when did you learn to skydive?
Self-taught, Bill. Kind of a prodigy.
From personalized insights to year-round support, Channel Seed pros always show up. Visit channel.com to learn more. Channel, all in, all season. Read and follow pesticide label directions, grain marketing, and other stewardship practices.
What's big, bold, and bursting with Kentucky flavor? It's the Trigg County Country Ham Festival happening October 10th and 11th in Cadiz, Kentucky. Voted best festival in Western Kentucky, it's 2 days of hometown charm, mouthwatering ham, and family-friendly fun. Get the scoop at TriggHamFest.com and follow us on Facebook and Instagram for updates and sneak peeks. Come for the ham, stay for the memories.
Farmers know long days need dependable tires. Head on over to the brand new Best One on 1037 West Main Street. Now the largest tire store in Glasgow. Best One understands farm life doesn't stop. That's why we offer 24-hour service and fast field repair to get you back in action quickly. Plus, with our nationwide network, you'll find low prices and a massive selection of tires for anything on the farm or on the road. Best One is community-driven, and some of us are farmers ourselves. We know the importance of getting the best deals on everything, especially Firestone, BKT, and Maxim Farm tires.
Dang it! Another flat tire.
New to Best One in Glasgow, tire foam filling and liquid tube tire sealant. Keep those pesky punctures from thorns and nails at bay and stay focused on the harvest. From sunrise to sunset, Best One will keep your farm a smooth running operation. Visit the new Best One on 1037 West Main Street. Best One, farmers helping farmers get the job done.
When your loved one passes away, you turn to your family. You turn to family too when you choose Hardy & Son Funeral Homes. To the staff at Hardy & Son, their family grows when they help yours. And it's done with the utmost care and thought, down to the smallest detail, during and after you honor the passing of someone you love. Helping people through difficult times is a service and an honor to celebrate a life well lived. Hardy & Son Funeral Homes, family helping families since 1926 in Bowling Green and Smiths Grove.
Obituaries are brought to you by Hardy & Son Funeral Homes. Charlene Marie Constant Norris, 87, of Smiths Grove, died Sunday. She was an Edmonson County native and a member of Jackson Grove Baptist Church. Survivors include 2 sons, Mike and Tim Anderson, and a brother, Randy Constant. The funeral for Charlene Marie Constant Norris will be Thursday. That's tomorrow. Thursday morning at 11 at Hardy & Son Bowling Green Chapel, burial in Smiths Grove Cemetery. Visitation is today. It starts at 4 and ends at 7 at Hardy's Bowling Green Chapel. Gerald Eugene Sullivan, Dr. Gerald Eugene Sullivan, age 87, of Bowling Green, died August 19th. He was a Lexington native who earned his medical degree from Vanderbilt University completed his ophthalmology residency in Indianapolis, and then began his Bowling Green medical practice in 1969. He was a member of St. Joseph Catholic Church and coached Little League Baseball for nearly 3 decades. Survivors include 2 sons, Gerald and Tom Sullivan, and a sister, Angela Anderson. The funeral mass for Dr. Gerald Eugene Sullivan, will be Saturday morning at 9:30 at St. Joseph Catholic Church. J.C. Kirby and Son is handling arrangements for Dr. Gerald Eugene Sullivan. Obituaries this hour brought to you by Hardy and Son Funeral Homes, Bowling Green and Smiths Grove.
Does that house look a little bit wobbly? You know, it's... Whoa! We should have called Litchfield Exterminating.
Termites are a problem year-round. You can take action immediately, so you can do that by getting a free inspection. You can start treatment immediately. They may swarm through June. Your home is your biggest investment. The first step is, do I have a termite issue? That's what creates problems. That's what you'll have to spend money for repairs. So doing a free inspection is the first step. Now, you may encounter other problems like ants, spiders, crickets. That is something that you can deal with other than dealing with a termite problem, but all that is becoming active this time of the year. What has 6 legs and bugs you? Nothing, because I just killed them all. I'm Mark with Litchfield Exterminating. Call the professionals at 1-800-517-2388. You won't bug us.
Litchfield Exterminating. Visit litchfieldext.com.
Yesterday afternoon, the Glasgow Police Department, just here next to Warren County in Barron County, the Glasgow Police Department responded to claims made in a social media post. A statement from Chief Guy Howie that the complaint stems from a recent traffic stop. The complaint was made by a citizen claiming that the responding officer was disrespectful. The complaint originally went to the Barron County Sheriff, Kent Keene. Sheriff Keene realized that it was not intended for the sheriff, but instead intended for the city police department, and he forwarded the complaint to Chief Howie. The complaint was submitted by a gentleman named Royce Bunch. I'm going to read to you the complaint word for word. One of your officers, don't know name, stopped one of my board members, Tim, they've redacted his last name, on the way to the dump. Tim apologized to the officer and told him, I'm sorry, was trying to get to the dump before it closes at 4:30, was told, no, it doesn't closes until 5. Now, I'm reading this the way this thing was written.
Yeah. Yeah. And I'm sitting here trying to be sure I'm understanding it, and trying to read or fill in what I really think it should be.
Right. And I'm not trying to demean anybody. This was an official complaint submitted in writing to a government authority, and I'm reading it this way because sometimes all of us have to do, and the government authority has to do what you're suggesting, is read it and then figure out what do they mean, because it's not as clear to the reader as it often is to the writer, and especially when there's not things like commas or periods or capital letters or punctuation of any kind. It continues, ask for license to write ticket plainly states veteran. Tim asks, "Can you give me a break? I'm a veteran." To which he replied, "Well, I'm not, so don't mean anything to me." Tim is a combat Marine veteran who fought and sacrificed for our freedom. This is a total disrespect to a veteran. It was around 4:30 near Paul Nicholas Building. Very little or no traffic at that time. Tim had to pay the ticket and attend traffic school. Kent, we support law enforcement 100% and feel this officer should be reprimanded, fired, or at least made to apologize. I know you will handle this correctly. Thank you, sir.
So,
unpack it.
Okay, was it written? Of course, where they were going, it says they were going to the dump.
They were going to the dump.
Part of my interpretation was trying to figure out, were they really going to a dump, or was he talking about something else?
I believe
even that was not clear. That's the point that I was unsure that that's what they meant.
Yes, they were indeed going to the dump.
Now, who wrote this thing, and Tim was the violator, I suppose.
Yes.
But somebody else
It was
wrote
written
this
by Royce Bunch,
Oh,
who
yeah.
who wasn't present or involved at all.
Oh, okay. So why didn't
But took to social media.
Oh, okay.
And created a stir in Glasgow and Barron County about it, to the point that the police chief says we don't normally respond to things like this, but given, and he did not use the word hubbub, but I'm going to.
Yeah.
But due to the hubbub that's going on, he decided that he felt like he needed to respond to it.
Yeah.
There's all kinds of things to unpack here.
Yeah.
The gentleman was going 20 miles over
the speed limit.
Over the speed limit is what they have determined.
So that's dangerous.
So let's determine. Let's go back to what body camera footage has determined, and that is he was going 20 miles over, and at no time did anybody mention being a veteran.
No.
No. Totally fabricated.
Yeah,
it's not.
So it says that not only says that Tim is a veteran, but that was communicated to the arresting or the stop officer.
The officer, right? It was communicated in,
and that was
in
not
this sentence where it says ask for license to write ticket. Plainly states veteran. I mean, so again, we're deciphering here that they asked for the license to write a ticket, and it sounds as if Tim states, "I'm a veteran. Can you give me a break? I'm a veteran." Again, which the officer then replied, it was alleged, "Well, I'm not. So it doesn't mean anything to me."
So that's another thing people probably got up in arms about.
Yes.
That somebody just blew off a poor veteran.
Come to find out, neither the driver nor the officer mentioned being a veteran, and the officer is a veteran with 4 overseas deployments. So it would lead one to believe that the officer is not likely to say that they don't care that you're a veteran.
Well, he said, "I'm not."
Right. So, is what the allegation
suggests. He said, "I'm not a veteran, so I don't care that you are."
Right.
Which
the chief is going so far that he is allowing the public to view the body camera footage today at 1:30 at the Glasgow Police Department training room. So if any citizen wants to come and watch the body camera footage, they can, because, again, this created such an uproar amongst people that and there is still a lot to unpack here, in that there's this belief that if he's going 20 over, do we believe that if you're going 20 over but no one's around, the police should not intervene?
No, because, and I can think of this, say you're going to, I don't know what road was it, does it say? Probably does.
It does not, but it says in front of, and I suppose if I knew It was near the Paul Nicholas building. I don't know where the Paul.
Well, the only thing I'm thinking of is if somebody is going faster than 20 miles over the speed limit, and maybe in a residential area, and you're coming out of your driveway, and you see somebody coming, you think, well, I have time to pull out. If they're going 20 over, you may not realize that until wow, how did they get there that fast? In other words, you don't have time to respond. So, I mean, it doesn't make any difference. There's not a lot of traffic on the road.
I agree.
But
that's kind of, this person, this Royce person, again, Tim, we don't know his last name, and we don't need to know his last name, because Tim paid the ticket and went to traffic school, at least based upon this allegation. There's so many inaccuracies in the allegation that it's difficult to know what is true and what isn't.
So it sounds like Tim got stopped for going 20 miles an hour, and he probably didn't like it, but he tried to explain it out, and it didn't work. So he paid his ticket and went to he followed the procedure.
Yes.
And he probably grumbled, shall we say, to friends and family, but he didn't write this. He didn't make it public.
He didn't do anything. No. He did what he was supposed to do. And I'm sure nobody likes to be stopped for speeding.
No.
And mostly we don't like it because we know there's a fine coming, there's traffic coming, there's points on or off your license. Do they take points away? Do they add them?
I don't know. Or maybe you get stopped in downtown Bowling Green, like somebody I know years ago who has not forgotten, and worried that other people would notice that.
Yeah.
Well, why is that person being stopped?
Yes. Yeah. I can empathize with them. I can empathize with them. We're going to get to the news. A little bit more to unpack about this when we come back. But right now it's 6:47. This news with Al Arbogast brought to you by Hospice of Southern Kentucky. Al?
Warren County Public School Board has voted against partnering with a Christian nonprofit.
The Ohio-based LifeWise Academy had planned to host optional off-site Bible education for first and second graders at Alvaton Elementary School. The program would be possible because of the recently passed Kentucky Senate Bill 19, which allows public school students to leave school an hour early once a week for district-approved moral instruction. The school board has now voted against the LifeWise partnership in a split decision of 3-2. Amy Duvall and Gary Chaffin both voted in favor, while Jen Cash, Thomas Manko, and Adam Jackson voted in opposition. Thomas Manko explained that he has reservations over the new law and its lack of clarification on what moral instruction means. Jen Cash worries about possible safety issues related to students leaving school and being supervised by people other than district employees. In explaining her yes vote, Amy Duvall said that the LifeWise program has shown success in other states and that it would not interfere with anyone's religious freedoms since it is optional. LifeWise Academy Director Rachel Motes says that the nonprofit welcomes all families, employs strictly vetted staff, and works hard to ensure compliance with federal and state regulations regarding student transportation. Motes says the nonprofit will address the school board's concerns and make its proposal again at a later meeting. I'm Ford Parson.
A Kentucky grand jury has returned a no-true bill in a murder case.
A murder suspect is released from custody after a grand jury fails to indict her for murder. Summer Atkins was arrested in June for shooting her 62-year-old father, Jimmy Harvey. Investigators shared details about the shooting and the accusations of Harvey sexually abusing her. While the grand jury didn't indict Atkins, her attorney submitted a motion to dismiss the case. Her bond and home incarceration has been ordered removed by Judge Johnny Ray Harris. I'm Lee Mowen.
Attorneys say that an upcoming murder trial in Warren Circuit Court may have to be delayed. 27-year-old David Anthony Prophet is currently scheduled to stand trial beginning September 23rd. He is accused of killing his girlfriend, Alexandra Hemman, in August of 2023 and then stealing her financial cards and vehicle. During a hearing on Monday, Commonwealth Attorney Corey Beck Bumgardner explained that the medical examiner who performed Hammond's autopsy will be unable to testify in person. Bumgardner has moved to depose the examiner for pretrial testimony. However, defense attorney Jill Elkind objected to this motion and said that the medical examiner ought to testify in person. Judge Chris Corrin said that he will schedule another hearing to consider Bumgardner's motion for deposition and any pending motions from the defense. Besides murder, David Anthony Prophet is also charged with abuse of a corpse, first-degree strangulation, theft by unlawful taking, and 3 counts of second-degree forgery. He previously declined a plea offer that would have recommended 50 years in prison. We are 9 minutes away from 8 o'clock or 7 o'clock at Talk 104.93 WKCT.
At Hospice of Southern Kentucky, they believe every moment matters. Their hospice care is about embracing life, bringing joy and comfort to every day, and making precious memories. If you or a loved one is facing a serious illness, it's time to talk to Hospice of Southern Kentucky. Learn how they can help ease the journey with their expert care and support. Don't wait for tomorrow. Start the conversation today. Call them at 270-746-9300. Hospice of Southern Kentucky, where every moment is cherished.
Talk 104.93 WKCT.
The Bowling Green City Commission is spending $2.8 million for several pieces of needed equipment. City Manager Jeff Meisel told the commission that new fire trucks are needed at Fire Station 3 on Nashville Road and Station 4 on Morgantown Road.
It takes about 3 years to get these jokers put together and delivered, but we're here to get this ball rolling on these 2 apparatuses. We're looking at roughly $2.4 million for both of them, about $1.2 million each. Part of this municipal order is our intent to finance. We go out and do usually a 10-year financing on these trucks, recommending the Houston Galveston Area Council cooperative purchasing agreement to use on this one to get the Pierce brand truck through Atlantic Emergency Solutions.
Meisel says another $232,000 is needed for a new knuckle boom for debris removal.
Knuckle boom is that nice, handy piece of equipment after a storm that can just reach over and grab a big old pile of trees and debris and throw it in the truck. We need a new one. This was in our FY26 budget as well. We did find this one out on Sourcewell, our cooperative purchasing agreement that we have in place. That we're looking at $231,862 for this knuckle boom from Best Equipment Company. That would be used by our operations guys during and after storm events and everything that they're out there cleaning up in our 42 square miles on a regular basis.
With this purchase, the city manager says that the city will have 3 knuckle booms. The city will also spend $136,475 with Kenny Machinery Corporation for the Parks and Recreation Department's golf turf maintenance projects. Al Arbogast, Talk 104.93 WKCT. If you were sitting on the city commission Tuesday, would you have known what a knuckle boom was?
Yes.
Okay.
But that's a little unfair because I'm around a lot of different equipment, not that kind of equipment, but when you're around equipment, you hear different types of equipment. And because of the fascination I have with big equipment, I'm a little boy when it comes to big equipment.
So that hasn't passed for you.
It has not passed.
Yeah.
I see big equipment on the road, and I'm like, oh,
you have to stop.
Where is it going?
Yeah.
I wonder what that's going to do. Good morning. You're on the air.
Al, Slim's baiting me this morning.
Look, if you feel triggered, Sean, get your rage pillow out and punch it a couple times and feel better.
Okay. So you have a police officer who's been hired to do a job. He's been trained to do a job.
Yes.
He's been given a book of laws and said, these aren't real popular, but we need you to enforce them because we as the public have determined that these are important to us.
Yes.
He goes out and does his job as asked to do, and you have a guy who falsely reports a complaint to the police. The guy who wrote that should be charged with a crime.
Oh, I hadn't thought about
Falsely
that.
reporting an incident.
Yeah.
And that officer should seriously consider suing that individual for defamation or slander. This officer did exactly what he's told to do. Body cams were one of the best things we've added to law enforcement because more times than not, many, many more times than not, body cams have shown that police officers do exactly what they're supposed to do, and people make up untruthful things about them. This body cam showed this officer didn't say the things that are alleged.
No.
The guy should be charged.
Yeah, the body cam also showed that the guy that was pulled over didn't say the things that were alleged, which is so weird to me in that there was no discussion whatsoever of veteran status for it to be included. Let me ask you a question. I hear this a lot about charging someone with reporting a false incident. Is that what it's called?
Falsely reporting an incident, yes.
How easy is that for someone? Because it never seems to be done. Never's too strong. It rarely seems to be done. I do not see reports about people being charged with that. I see lots of reports about people calling in and reporting an incident. I watch videos where people do it, but charges never seem to come along.
I think I have gotten some indictments, but it is kind of rare. But I think I've seen it.
It's very rare because, honestly, and I believe this, you should be able to undoubtedly prove that they falsely reported an incident and that they did it with ill intent. This guy asked for this officer to be fired.
He sure did.
This is a career that this guy has invested his entire life into, and some guy wants him fired for doing his job as he's been instructed to do his job. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
And this is the problem, is that people get away with doing this kind of crap, and nobody calls them on it. And then now you got these false narratives out there that the police are just mean and we're out here doing all these things when we're doing what you, the citizens, asked us to do.
I think this guy's being called on it because we know his name. I can't remember it now, but Slim mentioned it.
Royce Bunch.
Royce Bunch, and there's going to be a showing of the body cam today at 1:30 at the police station?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yes.
Glasgow Police
I can
Station.
tell you, when I was still a sergeant and we had body cams, it was not uncommon for people to call in and complain on an officer because they got a ticket. And then I would say, well, what did the officer do wrong? And they, well, he cussed me. Well, hold on just a second. Let me pull that video up. And they're like, what do you mean video? I'm like, I have a body cam video. It uploads automatically to our city network system. Let me pull it up and see what that officer did, because if he did that, he needs to be in trouble.
Yeah.
I need to address that problem. And they're like, oh, no, it's okay. No, that's all right. Maybe I was mistaken.
Yeah.
And I'm like, exactly. It's ridiculous.
Wow. Yeah.
We want the police when we need the police, but we don't want you around any other time.
What do you think, Sean, about the idea of addressing, we've only got 1 minute, but of addressing something that's put out on social media through, say, like the official statement that Chief Howie is doing?
Oh, listen, I am not a huge fan of Guy Howie. We've had other issues where officers he didn't treat properly, but I think police chiefs and sheriffs should absolutely come out and say, we've got videos show our officer did exactly what we trained him to do, and they should stand behind those officers. So the fact that he's done this, good on him this go around. He's done a good job on that one.
Okay. I might ask you to call back after we do the news, because I want to ask about, is he setting the table for transparency? Because that's why he says he's showing this body camera footage. Is he setting himself up for later people to say, well, I want the same thing. I want the same coverage then, but we'll have to take it up after Fox News.
Yeah, I'll call you back.
The all-new Talk 104.
And 93 WKCT, Bowling Green.
Capital punishment in the Capitol. Gianna Gelosi, Fox News. D.C. logged its first homicide in nearly 2 weeks, and President Trump's crime crackdown continues. Now it could mean the death penalty.
Anybody murders something in the Capitol, capital punishment, capital punishment.
Fox's Kevin Cork.
President Trump weaving in and out of various cabinet reports and the like. He remains laser focused on cleaning up the crime problem in the nation's capital, calling for the reinstatement of the death penalty for murder cases in this city. The president's comments coming amid his administration's efforts to reduce crime in D.C., one that's already seen over 1,000 arrests since August the 7th, 8 known gang members, including members of MS-13 and Tren de Aragua, the recovery of 2 missing children, and, of course, the seizure of more than 110 firearms.
Now, Washington, D.C. does not have the death penalty, but the Trump administration has been pushing police to charge suspects with federal crimes, some of which do carry the death penalty. And President Trump says he's ready for a court fight over his firing of the Federal Reserve governor.
The president says he's not concerned about a lawsuit to block his removal of Lisa Cook from the Federal Reserve Board.
We need people that are 100% above board, and it doesn't seem like she was.
President Trump says he has cause to fire Cook because of an allegation of mortgage fraud from the Federal Housing Finance Agency.
She seems to have had an infraction, and she can't have an infraction, especially that infraction.
The president denies his action is related to Cook joining a majority of board members opposed to an interest rate reduction. Her attorney calls the firing unlawful. A statement from the Federal Reserve notes the board's independence, but says it will abide by any court order. At the White House, Jared Halpern, Fox News.
Now, Cook's lawyer says they're filing a lawsuit to challenge that firing. America's listening to Fox News.
We all know the importance of good daily habits, whether it's getting your steps in, stretching those limbs, or eating right. Doing it on the regular is key. That's why if you're dealing with everyday aches and pain, it's time to bring Relief Factor into your routine. Relief Factor is a daily supplement that fights pain naturally. Developed by doctors, Relief Factor uses a special formula of 4 natural ingredients. Relief Factor doesn't just mask pain, it helps reduce or even eliminate it. In fact, the longer you take it, the more effective it is. So call 1-800-4-RELIEF and try their 3-week quick start for only $19.95. That's less than $1.
Hand. We need to keep the pressure on Russia until we get a peace deal.
One bill being considered would slap significant tariffs on countries that purchase energy from Russia, with an exception if the countries support Ukraine. The Trump administration is pushing for a meeting between Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky and Russian President Vladimir Putin to begin discussing a peace agreement. In Washington, Ryan Schmelz, Fox News.
Russia's foreign minister recently saying on NBC's Meet the Press that a meeting with Zelensky will happen, quote, when the agenda is ready for a summit, and this agenda is not ready at all. Meanwhile, President Trump's 50% tariff on India is now in effect, putting a tax on roughly 55% of goods coming from the country, including textiles and jewelry. It's all a punishment as India continues to buy Russian oil. And a liftoff for SpaceX after a series of setbacks. Fox's Kristen Goodwin.
SpaceX launching its massive Starship rocket into space. Cheers heard throughout the mission as the Super Heavy rocket booster splashed down in the Gulf and as Starship deployed its simulated or mock Starlink satellites into orbit, making its way back to Earth.
There's a splashdown.
Splashing down in the Indian Ocean. The flight comes after the company called off 2 earlier launches this week over ground system issues and weather. Kristen Goodwin, Fox News.
Now, SpaceX CEO Elon Musk is hoping to use the rocket to take people to Mars, and NASA hopes to use it to land astronauts on the moon. I'm Gianna Gelosi. This is Fox News.
.05 on Wednesday, August 27th, 2025. 270-780-9626 is the number to call to join the conversation. Is that you, Sean?
Yep.
Thank you for calling back. I wanted to continue the conversation with you because you have experience in this area. I like the idea that Chief Howie in this case is releasing body cam footage. And he, in his letter, says, in the interest of transparency and public trust, to address the concern that has been raised, Chief Howie will allow the public to view the body cam footage Wednesday, August 27th at 1:30 p.m. at the Glasgow Police Department training room. Is he setting himself up for future problems? Because it seems very often when the public wants to see body cam footage, they're told no outright for a reason, or they are told you must go through a open records request, neither of which are happening here.
Right. So I can't quote the laws specifically, but there are some laws in place that govern being able to release some of those body cam videos, i.e., if you're investigating an officer for misconduct, that officer has rights. And what I mean by that is this guy made a false complaint, what appears to be a false complaint, and to release that immediately, like the day you got it, is unfair to the officer because you haven't investigated it. You haven't pulled the body cam video. You haven't done some of the other stuff that you need to do. So there's a law in place that prevents police departments from releasing information about an investigation too early if they haven't completed the investigation. Now, once they completed the investigation, they can make statements to the public, but they have to have that investigation completed first. This was a very quick and easy investigation. You just pulled the body cam video. It probably took 20 minutes, and you were able to clear the officer of any wrongdoing. And so he's able to put those things out quicker. I wish there was a lot of times, for instance, in the riots after Breonna Taylor's situation in Louisville, that the guy that was at the barbecue shop who shot a couple of rounds at some National Guard members and they shot and killed him, the governor's office did a real good job of investigating that quickly and releasing the video that they had, which very quickly calmed everybody down in regards to that specific incident. We don't, in law enforcement and in government, don't do a good job of getting some of that information out fast enough, because I think we could stop a lot of problems getting it out faster. We've just always had this mentality of, nope, we can't put it out until we're completely done, and sometimes that's detrimental.
Yeah. I go ahead. Sorry.
You got to protect the officers' rights, because police officers have rights too. A lot of people don't like to think that. Police officers have rights just like you have rights.
Right.
So you have to protect them. I don't think he's setting himself up for failure, but who knows? Everything can get twisted.
Sure. I like the level of transparency that he's going through. I hope that the level of transparency that is being shown here is the level of transparency that will be shown in the future, obviously to take into consideration all the factors, but not make the idea of transparency so difficult to achieve. Thank you.
Well, I think probably what you're saying is you hope there's transparency when the officer's wrong, just like you hope there's transparency when he's right.
Yes.
And I agree. We say this all the time, and people don't ever believe us. Nobody hates a bad cop more than a good cop. You know, cops that are doing things wrong make us all look bad. They create the distrust with the community, and we don't want those people around any more than anybody else does.
And
the issue is,
I believe that. What I think is difficult for others to why it's difficult for people to swallow that is sometimes you see good cops standing around, and I'm thinking particularly in videos that are being shot, watching the bad cop be a bad cop, and they don't appear to be doing anything to stop the bad cop from doing that. I saw a video the other day. I wish I could remember where it was from. I went and Googled to make sure I wasn't just being strung down a thing. But a sergeant was allowed to retire because he grabbed a rookie cop by the throat and slammed her up against a car because she tried to intervene. with him when he was doing wrong. There were all kinds of officers around, nobody doing anything. How does those that see that, how do you help them process that, Sean?
First of all, are they doing wrong, or is there a perception that they're doing wrong? For instance, this guy filed a complaint saying that the officer did wrong by writing this ticket. That would be my first question. Is there actual wrong being done? And then is there wrong being done that's truly wrong, or just something that Slim Nash doesn't like?
Right. Okay.
Because I can talk to you, as long as I don't cuss you, I can be harsh in my statements to you. If you're being, like, people believe that they can just say, why'd you stop me? Well, I don't have to tell you why I stopped you until you give me your license and insurance, and I can identify you. But you see video after video of, well, why'd you stop me? Why'd you stop me? Sir, I need your driver's license and insurance, and I'll be happy to explain that. So the public has created a different perception of what they think is right and wrong. Now, you get an officer that's just outright beating somebody for no reason, I'm with you. Shouldn't be doing that.
Yeah.
But the other thing is, too, does the officer see a gun? Does the officer see a knife? Does the officer see something that has made that officer think, I need to take physical action quickly? That might not be seen by the body cam. The body cam is one image, looks in a set direction, and there may be things that the officer sees out of his periphery or other things like that. So I think you first have to determine, is the officer really, truly doing wrong? And that needs to be investigated. And if they are, they do need to be put out. But just nuances of how they do the job, as long as they're within policy, I think you got issues there.
Okay. What and if the officers, if one of the officers responds, I agree with you. When I'm asked for my license, I just hand it over. I think people that try to litigate on the side of the road or in a parking lot are going to lose 100% of the time. I just that's what I believe. So I don't do it. I don't encourage other people to do it. If an officer's, that said, if an officer's job is to de-escalate situations, why not just, when that person says, why did I pull you over, while they're asking for the license, just answer the question, I pulled you over for speeding, now may I have your license? To try to at least de-escalate the situation and get the information, as opposed to continue to say, I'll tell you that. Why is it so important? And I'm asking a real question. Why is it so important for the officer to have the ID in hand before explaining the infraction?
Well, there's a fine line between de-escalation and maintaining control.
Okay.
The police officer has to be in control of the stop. They made the stop. They're using their authority to create the stop. And there are safety reasons. There are other reasons. If I tell you why I stopped you, you may, no, I'm not doing that, and drive off. I don't know who you are other than your license plate, and that may not be you. That just may be the owner of the car.
Right.
Could I figure out who you are by a longer investigation? Sure. But the gist of the matter is that person who got stopped is not in control, and they should not be in control. They were stopped by a lawful law enforcement officer doing the job. They need to comply with what they're told to do, and the officers need to then comply and tell the citizen what to do. But the citizen doesn't get to be in charge during that type of situation. Their liberties are momentarily taken away from them when those blue lights come on behind them. Mm-hmm. You are required by law to stop.
Right.
And so
they've done
there's
that.
a fine line there.
And they have stopped, and I agree with you on the fine line. I just didn't know if there was like some strong policy for why the ID must be given to the officer before the person is told why. And what I hear you saying is it's about control.
Well, it's not 100%, but kind of, yes. I mean, I'm not going to say that. I mean, I've written thousands and thousands of tickets in my career, and sometimes I'll just like, yeah, you ran that stop sign back there. Let me have your license now.
Right.
Or it really depends on the officer's response. We're not robots.
I get that.
So the response to the public is oftentimes very quickly dictated by how the public treats us. I will tell you, I made a whole lot of stops, and I got out of my cruiser thinking, hey, I'm writing this guy a ticket or writing this girl a ticket. And I get up there and I'm like, hey, how you doing? Sergeant Helbig, see your license, insurance. Yeah, here it is. I'm so sorry I did this. Okay, that's a legitimate excuse. It's not good. You broke the law, but I'll give you a warning today. Versus me walking up going, what'd you stop me for? Okay, you're definitely getting a ticket.
Yeah.
You're being, very disrespectful when the officer's doing their job. They haven't done anything rude to you, haven't been bad to you, but you're going to immediately get on them. You set the tone to the traffic stop. The public does.
Mm-hmm.
And how that traffic stop happens is based off how your attitude is most times. So it's vinegar versus honey,
Right. And I hear that, but as somebody who has been educated in de-escalation, and I know you have too, and as someone who has taught de-escalation, I always try to tell people, eliminate the low-hanging fruit if you can as a way to de-escalate the situation. And it seems like if an officer says, may I have your license, and the person says, why did you stop me? I'll answer that after you give me your license, seems to me to be escalating rather than de-escalating. I stopped you for speeding. May I have your license? You've taken away a legitimate argument. You've not taken away an illegitimate argument because you never do. Somebody can just, continue to argue about anything.
Here's what tends to happen, though, when you do that is I stopped you for speeding. I wasn't speeding. Well, now you've started into this battle of did I break the law, did I not break the law? And if I have your license and insurance, at some point the way I can de-escalate it is to say, I'll be right back with you, sir or ma'am, and walk to my cruiser to write a ticket.
And you sit down
but
and
I can't do that if I don't have the license and insurance first.
Right.
So by getting that license and insurance, I can cut down on the roadside debate of whether you broke the law or didn't. And, Bowling Green police officers have cruiser cameras just like they have body cameras.
Sure.
And, there's evidence to show this. There's a court for you to argue in. So getting that license and insurance first is also a way to cut down on the roadside judicial debate of whether they broke the law or didn't.
Sean, we have traveled a long way from Glasgow and Chief Howie, but I appreciate you calling in and doing it because that's just kind of the way conversations go sometimes. I appreciate you sharing.
I'm prepping you for a week and a half from now. So
That's right. Coming up on Friday the 5th.
Al, I got you back, buddy.
Thank you.
We will run. I promise you this, Sean. We will not run on schedule that day. I'm going to intentionally.
I'll be in Al's room. I can control the button.
Yes, you can. Yes, you can. Thanks for calling in, Sean. We appreciate it. Again, we've traveled a long way from where we started, but isn't that the way conversations work sometimes?
Well, that is interesting. Yeah. And I've seen some video. We get the news, but I have seen some. As he was talking, I was thinking I had just seen a video where the officer, I think, did say something, and the guy, he was probably drunk. Well, what stop? He totally misinterpreted what the officer said.
Yeah.
He said, "What stop sign?" And I don't think that's what the what the officer even said.
Yeah.
So So
I really do see both sides of it. I do see because a de-escalation technique is to separate yourself from the person.
Well, and
so if you have your license and insurance, you can go do that.
And you heard him say, if you're polite,
I say this all the time, and it's not law enforcement, it's in towing. But when I can get people to calm down, I've never heard somebody being cussed at have a fit thrown at them, and that encouraged them to give the other person a break.
Yeah.
And that's the same way with why be disrespectful to the police officer when they walk up? You're not likely to get what you want. I'd love to take that call. I hope you'll call back.
Call back after the news.
But Al's already given me the finger twice.
Yes.
This news with Al Arbogast brought to you by Poston Electronics, the trusted source in the Bowling Green area for home, mobile, and commercial electronics sales, service, and installation since 1974. Al?
The Bowling Green City Commission is spending $2.8 million for several pieces of equipment. City Manager Jeff Meisels told the commission that fire trucks are needed at Fire Station 3 on Nashville Road and Station 4 on Morgantown Road.
It takes about 3 years to get these jokers put together and delivered, but we're here to get this ball rolling on these two apparatuses. We're looking at roughly $2.4 million for both of them, about $1.2 million each. Part of this municipal order is our intent to finance. We go out and do usually a 10-year financing on these trucks, recommending the Houston Galveston Area Council cooperative purchasing agreement to use on this one to get the Pierce brand truck through Atlantic Emergency Solutions.
Meisel says another $232,000 is needed for new knuckle boom for debris removal.
Knuckle boom is that nice, handy piece of equipment after a storm that can just reach over and grab a big old pile of trees and debris and throw it in the truck. We need a new one. This was in our FY26 budget as well. We did find this one out on Sourcewell, our cooperative purchasing agreement that we have in place. So we're looking at $231,862 for this knuckle boom from Best Equipment Company. That would be used by our operations guys during and after storm events and everything that they're out there cleaning up in our 42 square miles on a regular basis.
City will also spend $136,475 with Kenny Machinery Corporation for the Parks and Recreation Department's golf turf maintenance projects. Attorneys say that an upcoming murder trial in Warren Circuit Court may have to be delayed. 27-year-old David Anthony Prophet is currently scheduled to stand trial beginning September 23rd. He is accused of killing his girlfriend, Alexandra Hemman, in August of 2023 and then stealing her vehicle and financial cards. During a hearing on Monday, Commonwealth's attorney Corey Beck Bumgardner explained that the medical examiner who performed Hammond's autopsy will be unable to testify in person. Bumgardner has moved to depose the examiner for pretrial testimony. Judge Chris Corrin said that he will schedule another hearing to consider Bumgardner's motion for deposition and any pending motions from the defense. Prophet previously declined a plea offer that would have recommended 50 years in prison. We are 23 and a half minutes after 7 o'clock at Talk 104.93 WKCT.
The average American spends 520 hours a year in their vehicles. 520 hours. So Poston Electronics asked the question, is your car audio experience the best it can be? I mean, come on, you practically live in your vehicle. Poston Electronics is your authorized dealer for Alpine, JL Audio, Memphis, Kenwood, all the names you know and trust. And their highly trained staff will help you select the best equipment to fit your needs and budget. Plus, Poston provides support only a local business can offer. Since 1974, Poston Electronics, 875 Broadway.
Talk 104.
93 WKCT.
Warren County Public School Board has voted against partnering with a Christian nonprofit.
The Ohio-based LifeWise Academy had planned to host optional off-site Bible education for first and second graders at Alvaton Elementary School. The program would be possible because of the recently passed Kentucky Senate Bill 19, which allows public school students to leave school an hour early once a week for district-approved moral instruction. The school board has now voted against the LifeWise partnership in a split decision of 3-2. Amy Duvall and Gary Chaffin both voted in favor, while Jen Cash, Thomas Manko, and Adam Jackson voted in opposition. Thomas Manko explained that he has reservations over the new law and its lack of clarification on what moral instruction means. Jen Cash worries about possible safety issues related to students leaving school and being supervised by people other than district employees. In explaining her yes vote, Amy Duvall said that the LifeWise program has shown success in other states and that it would not interfere with anyone's religious freedoms since it is optional. LifeWise Academy Director Rachel Motes says that the nonprofit welcomes all families, employs strictly vetted staff, and works hard to ensure compliance with federal and state regulations regarding student transportation. Motes says the nonprofit will address the school board's concerns and make its proposal again at a later meeting. I'm Ford Parson.
LRB Gas Talk 104.93 WKCT.
This forecast is brought to you by Bowling Green Municipal Utilities, providing dependable, high-speed data service and safe, reliable electric, water, and wastewater treatment services. Current temperature out there is a very fall-like 52. Don't get fooled. It's not going to stay around. Today, a high of 81 and a low of 55 with no chance of rain. Tomorrow, Thursday, a high of 84 and a low of 56 with no chance of rain. Friday, high 86 and low 60. Only a 5% chance of rain, and that is during the day. Again, current temperature just changed a degree. It's now 53 degrees. And this forecast brought to you by BGMU.
Are higher than normal energy bills making it difficult to maintain your budget? Check out our Levelized Payment Program. Levelized payments smooth out heavy energy consumption that occurs during summer and winter. Payments are based on actual metered consumption of the current month and the previous 11 months. Call 270-782-1200 to see if you qualify.
Connecting Bowling Green, BGMU. Connecting Bowling Green.
I couldn't come up with it right away when talking to Sean, but the Florida police sergeant, it was a Florida police sergeant. Broward County is where the incident occurred. The video that I just saw recently, as sometimes happens, was from 2022, so it is at least 3 years old. Let's see, July of 2022. So it was right at three years old. The new officer, who happened to be a female officer, on the video can be seen approaching and grabbing hold of the duty belt of her sergeant to pull him away because there is a handcuffed suspect in the back of the car that he's doing something to. You cannot see that on the video, but you can just see lots of movement in there. And that sergeant turns around and grabs that other officer by the neck, backs that officer up, pins that officer against the car, and says things like, "You don't ever do that to me again," and lots of expletives. That sergeant ended up taking early retirement. But he was also charged with evidence tampering and assaulting a civilian during the incident. And so I don't really know where it went from that. He was relieved.
But there were some consequences for him.
But there were. My question to Sean, and Sean can't answer it. I mean, we're just kind of talking through things, is I do believe a good cop is the person who dislikes a bad cop the most because it makes their jobs more difficult. I really do believe that. What I don't understand is why so often there are cops standing around and nothing is being done. And this is when we know after the fact. This is not because he talked about, well, you don't know during that, and maybe it's just Slim Nash doesn't like what he's being told, and I agree with all that. But if we know after the fact the officer in fact did wrong, and there are other officers that were standing there and they were not intervening, that's why the public has a hard time buying the belief that nobody likes a bad cop more than a good cop. And I do believe it. Because I believe a bad person in any profession makes the profession more difficult for others. Right now, it's time for...
This CNBC Business Report is brought to you by German American Bank.
Wherever you are in your journey, German American Bank is here to give you the momentum and confidence you need to manage your finances. German American Bank has been a source of strength and security since 1910 and is here with a team of dedicated local professionals and convenient online tools and services to support you through every stage of life. Learn more and find contact information for a financial professional near you at GermanAmerican.com. German American Bank, member FDIC.
I
I'm Jessica Ettinger, CNBC. Wall Street opens this morning after a winning day for stocks yesterday. Investors are hoping for some strong NVIDIA earnings after the closing bell this afternoon. Kohl's shares plunged 6% yesterday on a Bloomberg report the retailer may be having some money trouble. Boeing shares popped yesterday 3% after South Korea's president met with President Trump at the White House, and Korean Air put in a major order for Boeing jets. Investors are watching as President Trump says he's fired Fed Governor Lisa Cook. She's accused of mortgage fraud, but she says she'll sue to keep her job. She's done nothing wrong and isn't going anywhere. Consumer confidence still kind of in the doldrums. The most recent numbers were lower than last month's numbers after revisions. On today's watch list, we got a load of earnings, including the important NVIDIA results after the bell today. Also, Abercrombie & Fitch, CrowdStrike, and Kohl's. Jessica Ettinger, CNBC.
David is a real Prevagen user, and this is his story.
Nice to meet you. My name is David. I've been a pharmacist for 44 years, and I'm from Flowery Branch, Georgia. When I first started taking Prevagen, I noticed stuff just seemed to come together and fit like a jigsaw puzzle. When I have customers come in, I recommend Prevagen. Number one, because it's safe and effective, does not require a prescription. And I've been taking it quite a while myself, and I know it works. I wouldn't recommend something like Prevagen if I didn't think it was worth it, because it works so good for me. And I love it when the customers come back in and tell me, David, that really works so good. Makes my day.
Prevagen, at stores everywhere without a prescription. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. Testimonialist was compensated.
Hi, this is Ron Studel at Studel Financial. I'm delivering new information today to warn you of the influence of AI, artificial intelligence. Unlike our competition, Studel depends on a better form of AI, actual intelligence. We have used actual intelligence for 40 years, guiding our clients' financial futures through challenging times very successfully. We've invested over $30 million this year already, as our carriers now offer a 20% bonus on your money, with 10% immediately liquid. For those with CDs maturing at much lower rates, we offer a 3-year rate of 5.5% and a 5-year rate of 5.75% on our fixed annuities. Have a light bulb moment, flip the switch, and call Studels today at 270-438-2611 or visit our website at studelfinancial.com. That's STUDLE financial.com.
I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. Last year, more clients hired Morgan & Morgan than ever before. We now have more offices, more staff, and more lawyers than any other injury firm in the world, protecting America, fighting for you.
Visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
I'm back to doing what I love and more, thanks to the Good Feet store.
Do you spend half your day walking or standing while working? If you have foot, knee, or low back pain, the Good Feet store wants to help you like we helped Tony.
Pain that I experience the most is foot pain from being on my feet all day. You're having to kind of talk to yourself through the whole shift, like, I got this, I can do this. Before, I felt defeated, and now it's like, all right, let's go. I'm ready. A whole new life, like sunshine coming on.
And here's Dennis.
Working at an amusement park, it's always on your feet. I just couldn't take it, but I didn't have a choice. I just couldn't believe that putting these arch supports in made that much of a difference that quickly. Good Feet just took that pain away, and I could do my job, and I could take care of my family. I know what my tomorrow is going to be. It's going to be positive, and it's going to be pain-free.
You deserve a better life, too. Stop in the Good Feet store today. We're located on Campbell Lane, near Nashville Road, in the Buckhead Square.
Thanks to the Good Feet store.
The end of summer is coming faster than we would like. That's why we're savoring every moment and every flavor at Summer Wind Down at Holiday World and Splash and Safari. Festive dishes paired with Indiana wines, berry scary sangrias by the pool, Thanksgiving treats between coasters, festive foods, select wines, collectible cups. One giant celebration, August 4th through September 13th at Holiday World and Splash and Safari. Come for the thrills, stay for the flavors. Get your tickets at holidayworld.com.
couple more thoughts on the situation out of Glasgow that we've been talking about this morning, but we're going to move on for right now. It may be something that comes up on another day, and we discuss it then. I wanted to get to this story that you can read on the front page of today's Daily News, not just the digital version, but the print version. Because, again, it's Wednesday, and if you hadn't heard, the Daily News has gone to only printing 3 times a week, printing a paper 3 times a week, although digital coverage, they say, is going to stay the same. And they're going to print on Mondays and Wednesdays, and then a weekend edition that is going to come out. But on the front page of today's Daily News, Warren County Public School Board votes no to early release Bible lessons. I know that you have spoken about this in your news coverage, Al. I wanted to give it a little bit of attention. And the reason is I went to the website about LifeWise Academy. I didn't know anything about LifeWise Academy, and still don't. Only what's on their website, and that's just a quick kind of look at it. So I don't want to claim to be an expert on LifeWise. I am not. I didn't even know this was something that was on the agenda. I don't oftentimes pay attention to what the agenda is for the school board. I'm sure that it's out there somewhere and you can look at it in advance. At least that's what the law says, and I'm sure that they follow the law. LifeWise says why, this is from their website, why we exist. Students need the Word of God. It's not hard to see what's happening in our nation. Fear, division, and strife rule the day. The inverse correlation between following statistics is not surprising to Bible-believing Christians. All-time highs among youth are anxiety, depression, and suicide. All-time lows among youth is Bible literacy, church attendance, and professions of faith. How is this not considered the same level of indoctrination that people who I think are probably on board with LifeWise and what they teach were claiming just a year or two ago about there being books in the library that talked about gay people? There were books in the library that talked about transgendered individuals. I mean, indoctrination is the word indoctrination. The process of indoctrination does not discriminate in what it can be about. I'm really struggling with the idea. And look, if they can find ways to reduce anxiety, depression, and suicide, and they can find ways to reduce fear and division and strife, I'm on board. I guess I would just want to know how they're going to do that. So for a quick Google search, and I'm being frank with you, that it's only a Google search, I searched how many Protestant denominations are there practiced in the United States. There is no single agreed upon number for Protestant denominations, with estimates ranging from dozens to thousands or even tens of thousands if one counts independent congregations and global variations of the same tradition. So how do you know what's being taught? I mean, what is being taught? The statement that I heard on our own newscast was that the director of LifeWise says we accept everyone. So if someone who is a Buddhist, a child who is a Buddhist, goes to that program for that 1 hour a day and says that's not what my family believes, how are they going to be treated? Which is different than saying, my family doesn't believe in prepositions. My family doesn't believe in 2 + 2 = 4. My family doesn't believe in the theory of gravity. I mean, those are things that have been well studied and tested, and we know that when we're providing that information to kids, that it's reliable information. Any thoughts on that, Al?
Well, my first thought is the parents apparently have to give permission for
They
this.
do.
So I can't imagine what religion did you say?
Buddhist.
Buddhist. Okay, I can't imagine Buddhists allowing giving permission for their kids to attend. Maybe they would. I don't know, but I mean,
in and of itself, is that not exclusionary right there? That that you're providing an opportunity for students. I mean, because here's what I can tell you. When I was, say, in 5th grade,
yes,
if somebody would have said, you get to leave school for an hour, Brian, I would have said, sign me up. Yeah. I'd have wore down Linda Rose. Come on, sign that form. Let me go. I want to get out. It wouldn't have mattered to me what it was.
Yeah.
And so the fact that we know that there are going to be people who are not going to sign their children up to go on a field trip, and whether we as the adults define it as a field trip or not, leaving school, walking down the street, across a street, Old Scottsville Road is what they said they were going to have to cross, to get over to the church is a field trip. It's fun.
Right.
It's something that's going to be fun to do every single day. I don't know how we justify these things in the world that we live in today. There was a time when the Christian religion ruled everything, and if you didn't comply, then you were ostracized, which I don't believe is really what the Word of God is supposed to be. I don't believe the Word of God is supposed to be a weapon. I believe that there are consequences if you violate the Word of God. I don't believe man solves that problem. Man, woman, they, whatever we want to say. I believe if you read the Scripture, at least according to how I do, somebody else decides that for us. But how is this? What Protestant religion are we going to teach? Is it going to be Catholic teachings?
Not if they're going across the street to a Protestant church.
Right. Okay.
So as a Catholic, if my kids were in that, is it just the one school across the street?
Right now, it's just the one school. It is only at Alvaton Elementary, and they're only going. Their stated goal was they were using Alvaton Elementary as a pilot.
I see.
And then if it went well, they wanted to expand it to all city and county schools.
Yeah. As a Catholic, no, I would probably not send my kids. I had a feeling that you would want to talk about this, so I wrote down a couple of questions beforehand. My questions are: why not, rather than this, why not send your kids to Sunday school?
Yes, that would be my question, and that's essentially what one of the school board members who voted no said. Last name Cash, relatively new board member, said, "I don't believe the school is. There are untold number of places to learn this kind of instruction."
So my other question, and I think I have an answer for it now: why an hour early? Why not just wait till school is out? But I guess the idea is to get them an hour early, get them across the street, give them whatever lesson they do, then get them back to school
so they can get on the bus.
By dismissal, so they can get on the bus, go home.
That's
so
correct.
that answered that was not clear.
That's correct.
I don't think in my mind. But my first question is still, why not? I don't know. Would parents? It just seems kind of odd to me that parents would send their kids to something like this for moral training. Why not give that moral? You're the parent? You're their chief moral teacher, or you're supposed to be,
right?
And why would you not take them to church on Sunday or to Sunday school, whatever? That's what I think. So
or teach it yourself.
Well, that's what I just said. Yeah,
I'm sorry if you did.
That's what I said.
I
You're
heard you say they're
moral
primary.
teacher.
Yes.
Yeah, you're primary teacher. So.
And look, there is a Supreme Court case that comes out of 1952 that still stands up, and I believe it's pronounced Zorak versus Clausen, and it ruled for what they call release time programs, which allowed students to leave the public school during the school day for religious instruction held off campus. The court found this practice constitutional because it did not involve public funds, the instruction was not held on school grounds, and no student was forced to participate. Thus, it was not violating the Establishment Clause or the Free Exercise Clause of the First Amendment. So I'm not suggesting that or asking that what they're doing is illegal. I'm just saying if the umbrella of Protestant religion can't agree, and we have whether it's dozens or thousands or tens of thousands of denominations within the Protestant religion, why is it that we think that a school program or a program that is offered during school is going to not stumble into something that somebody else objects to, that sent their kids there?
Yeah, well, it probably will. I mean, that's, from what you're saying, that sounds like a legitimate question. I mean,
so why are we even then getting into it? And I'm not asking you.
Yeah.
I don't mean that when I say that. I'm hoping that the caller will engage in a conversation with me. Good morning. You're on the air.
Yes. Good morning. I'm not a Buddhist, but let me say this: Buddhism today is nothing what it originally was. Back when Siddhartha Gautama, who became, I think, the Buddha like 300-400 years after his death.
I don't want to get too focused. Can I interrupt for just a minute, Danny? And that's just to say, Buddhism was just the first one that came to mind.
It was just an example.
I
We're
could
not
have
talking
said
about
Judaism. I could have said Catholics. I could have said, so I don't want to get too focused on the Buddhism thing. This is more about whether or not moral instruction can be taught in a way that should be done during the school day.
Okay, well, that's what we're kind of getting at. Let's do an example. Say, Siddhartha, he died back in 483, and it was the teachings or the discipline was kind of slow to get off. Now, Afghanistan, for instance, okay, after Alexander the Great, they went back to becoming warrior tribes again. Everybody was into it. Then Buddhism came. They lived 1,000 years in peace. And Islam came in AD 977, and Afghanistan hasn't known peace since, or ancient Bactria. It's a discipline. I found some things, in Buddhism, as a Christian, and the Bible talks about meditation, and being one with the Lord, being one with the universe. That's self-explanatory in the Hebrew Bible. But yeah, it's a type of discipline, and it probably could help some kids out there because it's about mind control, your chi, your inner self, and things of that nature, And then there's some other good things in religion and things of that nature, different religions out there and stuff,
But Buddhism wasn't going to be taught in it. I mean, again, I feel like you're stuck on Buddhism. But what is going to be taught over there is something in line with the Christian religion and the Protestant denomination.
Okay. Well, of course, now Al there, he's a Catholic, and of course now Al, he knows what the Catholic Church teaches, what they taught for over 1,000 years, and then of course Protestant, actually started in the Celtic Church. Long before Augustine, came to East Fleet there in Britain back in 590. But Protestantism, after Martin Luther, he took on different phases, just like Buddhism. We got all kinds of Buddhism, just like we have all kinds of different Christian denominations in Protestantism. I'm a Baptist. There's some good things in Baptist.
I'm not doubting at all there are good things in there.
But we have to find that a middle ground. I guess, Slim, what I'm trying to say, we got to try to find a middle ground, because religion, see, is kind of a mind thing. It's a discipline. See, it's a moral thing. It's a moral lesson, regardless if it's Judaism, Christianity, Islam, or Buddhism, or Hinduism. There's a discipline there. A moral concept, if you will, of how to treat one another, how to control yourself, your temper, your habits and things, and how to respect one another. That's the whole concept of religion.
Is the male the leader of the household? Is the male the leader of the household in a Protestant religion?
Biblically speaking, yes, he is.
Okay. So if that's being taught, is that something that should be taught to somebody during the school day?
Well, now, if we're in a society now where Prophet Isaiah said would come, 7 women after one man said, let us eat our own bread and live our life, And, now women, is equal to the man, but not in biblically speaking, philosophy, of that nature, but, or doctrinal, because when you get into doctrine and ecclesiastical matters, there's going to be a lot of disagreements. You're going to have a lot of parents upset that, says, well, we're Methodists. We believe in Arminianism. And said they're a bunch over here trying to teach Calvinism, or the whosoever will way. We don't believe that way, and so forth. So you need to stay, a teacher needs to stay away from doctrine, and stay to the more historical aspects of the Bible.
Thank you for your call, Danny. We appreciate you sharing your perspective with us. I think there towards the end of the conversation we stumbled into kind of what my concern is. But I don't think that people in this area would like the idea of the Bible only being treated as a history book. I mean, there's no question there's history within it. I just don't think most people would be comfortable saying we're going to learn the history of the Bible. We're not going to learn anything about the doctrine. I don't know. I don't honestly know if you could separate the two. I don't know. I'm not smart enough to know that. 7:54. I'm smart enough to know it's time for the news. It's with Al Arbogast, brought to you by Litchfield Exterminating, a local family-owned pest control company serving Litchfield, Bowling Green, Brownsville, Morgantown, and more. Al?
The Bowling Green City Commission is spending $2.8 million for several pieces of needed equipment. City Manager Jeff Meisel told the commission that new fire trucks are needed at Station 3 on Nashville Road and Station 4 on Morgantown Road.
It takes about 3 years to get these jokers put together and delivered. We're here to get this ball rolling on these two apparatuses. We're looking at roughly $2.4 million for both of them, about $1.2 million each. Part of this municipal order is our intent to finance. We go out and do usually a 10-year financing on these trucks, recommending the Houston-Galveston Area Council cooperative purchasing agreement to use on this one. To get the Pierce brand truck through Atlantic Emergency Solutions.
Meisel says that another $232,000 is needed for a new knuckle boom for debris removal.
Knuckle boom is that nice, handy piece of equipment after a storm that can just reach over and grab a big old pile of trees and debris and throw it in the truck. We need a new one. This was in our FY26 budget as well. We did find this one out on Sourcewell, our cooperative purchasing agreement that we have in place. So we're looking at $231,862 for this knuckle boom from Best Equipment Company. that would be used by our operations guys during and after storm events and everything that they're out there cleaning up in our 42 square miles on a regular basis.
With this purchase, the city manager says that the city will have 3 knuckle booms. The city will also spend $136,475 with Kenny Machinery Corporation for the Parks and Recreation Department's golf turf maintenance projects. We are 3.5 minutes away from 8 o'clock at Talk 104.93 WKCT.
Does that house look a little bit wobbly? You know, it's... Whoa! We should have called Litchfield Exterminating.
Termites are a problem year-round. You can take action immediately, so you can do that by getting a free inspection. You can start treatment immediately. They may swarm through June. Your home is your biggest investment. The first step is, do I have a termite issue? That's what creates problems. That's what you'll have to spend money for repairs. So doing a free inspection is the first step. Now, you may encounter other problems like ants, spiders, crickets. That is something that you can deal with other than dealing with a termite problem, but all that is becoming active this time of the year. What has 6 legs and bugs you? Nothing, because I just killed them all. I'm Mark with Litchfield Exterminating. Call the professionals at 1-800-517-2388. You won't bug us.
Litchfield Exterminating. Visit litchfieldext.com.
Talk 104.
93 WKCT.
LRBS Talk 104.93 WKCT.
This forecast is brought to you by Final Finish, your premium shop and collision center located on Pioneer Drive in Bowling Green and Gardner Lane in Morgantown. Current temperature 56 degrees as we climb today to a high of 81. No chance of rain during the day or during the evening. Tonight's low 55. Thanks to Final Finish for bringing us this forecast.
Excellence and precision. Because in auto collision repair, skill is paramount. At Final Finish, we value expertise and dedication. Join our team and enjoy top-level compensation, affordable health insurance, 401k, paid time off, and more. Plus, a $5,000 sign-on bonus awaits qualified technicians. Ready for a rewarding career? Visit FinalFinishUSA.com and click Employment or call us at 270-526-4856. There's always room for talent at Final Finish.
A woman called. I couldn't put her on the air, but during the Danny's call. But the best I can in a few seconds. I think she had concerns. She suggested that maybe the organization behind this idea needs a better look.
Okay.
And she talked about Christian nationalism,
yes,
and that sort of thing. So I have no idea.
I don't either. I don't
about what this.
But I can see the concern.
Yeah.
I can see the concern.
Yeah.
Right now, it's time for Fox News at the top of the hour.
Talk 104
and 93 WKCT, Bowling Green.
It's to beat down crime. I'm Angelo Bavaro, Fox News. President Trump holding a cabinet meeting yesterday where he called for the return of the death penalty in the nation's capital. This comes as D.C. sees its first homicide in nearly 2 weeks.
That shooting took place early Tuesday morning after midnight when an adult male was found unconscious but breathing in Anacostia off Minnesota Avenue in southeast D.C. He later died in the hospital. The White House says there's been over 1,000 arrests this month since President Trump ordered those reinforcements to help D.C.'s police force, which is 800 cops short. Trump says Republican House and Senate leaders are working on a new legislation to fight crime. Posting last night, Speaker Mike Johnson and Leader John Thune are working with me and other Republicans on a comprehensive crime bill. It's what our country needs, and now more to follow. Make America great again.
Fox's Lucas Tomlinson. Washington, D.C. does not have the death penalty, but the Trump administration has been pushing police to charge suspects suspects with federal crimes, some of which do carry the death penalty. City officials continue to argue that crime had already been falling. President Trump is facing a legal challenge to his attempt to fire a Federal Reserve Board member.
The president says his removal of Lisa Cook as a Federal Reserve Board governor is not related to her opposition to lower interest rates.
We need people that are 100% above board, and it doesn't seem like she was.
President Trump cites an allegation of mortgage fraud by Cook for her dismissal, an accusation Cook denies. Her attorney says she will sue to prevent an unlawful firing. President Trump told reporters he is considering a replacement for Cook. Her term on the Fed does not expire until 2038. At the White House, Jared Halpern, Fox News.
Cook was appointed by President Joe Biden in 2022. America's listening to Fox News.
We all know the importance of good daily habits, whether it's getting your steps in, stretching those limbs, or eating right. Doing it on the regular is key. That's why if you're dealing with everyday aches and pain, it's time to bring Relief Factor into your routine. Relief Factor is a daily supplement that fights pain naturally. Developed by doctors, Relief Factor uses a special formula of 4 natural ingredients. Relief Factor doesn't just mask pain, it helps reduce or even eliminate it. In fact, the longer you take it, the more effective it is. So call 1-800-4-RELIEF and try their 3-week quick start for only $19.95. That's less than $1 a day. Simply call 1-800-4-RELIEF. That's 1-800-4-RELIEF. Wherever you're having pain, don't let it keep you from living the life you want. Make Relief Factor part of your daily routine. Go to ReliefFactor.com or call 1-800-4-RELIEF. That's 1-800-4-RELIEF.
Good Wednesday morning to you. 270-780-9626 is the number to call to join the conversation. Al, I saw you take more than one call. Was there anything else to add to make sure we get what the listeners are calling in about on the air?
I think the second call, they didn't stay with us.
Got it.
And the first call, it just sounded, and I'm not commenting on it, it just sounded like the one who called was making suggestions, talking about the idea that there's more to it than just this organization. There's some political thought, apparently, conservative political thought behind
indoctrination.
This, I guess.
If
that's what you want to get.
If you look at the definition of indoctrination, indoctrination does not imply a liberal leaning or a conservative leaning. It is about ensuring people believe. I want to be careful because I don't want to set myself up for some kind of argument. To accept a set of beliefs, and that was the word that I was looking for, uncritically, is that you want to dispense with. Indoctrination is about dispensing with critical thinking. You believe this because the person of authority told you to believe it. That is not the foundation by which America was founded. If it was, we would still be British citizens, because the king was telling us exactly what it was that we were supposed to be doing and how we were supposed to be doing. And the founders of our country started thinking critically about, wait a second. I mean, if you just take taxes to be the first example, well, we don't like this. We're going to think about this. I mean, Benjamin Franklin was one of the greatest thinkers of the time in critical thinking, played a huge role in the American Revolution. And so the idea that we're just indoctrinating, I don't care, liberal, conservative, the indoctrination becomes dangerous. Indoctrination, to use a word that I hear conservatives use a lot, turns people into sheep. I mean, it just turns people into sheep, heading to slaughter, being told whatever it is that they need to be told so that they feel comfortable and head off to slaughter. So I wish we could have taken the other call. I don't think that this is going to go away. In fact, I think you had in your newscast, Al, and I know it had in the Daily News article, that the organization behind this kind of teaching at LifeWise Academy plans to propose its program again at Warren County Public Schools. It's determining next steps and planning to address board concerns in more detail, possibly as soon as the upcoming board meeting. So the very next board meeting, this may be back on the agenda. We will have to see. Let's move on to something that we can all agree on. Hand-breaded pork loin. I can agree on that.
All right.
I guess the contentious point of that may be gravy or no gravy.
Yeah.
And I always go with gravy. Gravy is the answer to many problems that are out there, I think. 1924 Russellville Road is where you'll find that hand-breaded pork loin with gravy today. That's Concon's Diner. Some of the best food you're going to eat in the city of Bowling Green. Our phone number, 270-780-9626. That's the number you're going to call to play along with this contest. Oh, there. Hey, it popped up. Oh, what a relief. I was kind of buying time there. Let's see. In 1980, that seems too...
What are we doing here?
I always we're playing Concon's Cash. Oh, it's Wednesday.
Yeah. That's right. Well, do you want to play Concon? Because you're starting to give the year. And I thought, what? Wait a minute. You're going to be a big help to me today.
I don't know what day it is. I don't know what contest we're playing. How about we do this? Can we go to the news early? And let me put together a Krispy Kreme 3-pick 3-pack?
Yes.
Can we do that? Can you help me? Can we call an audible?
Huh?
Omaha! Can we do that?
Yes. Yes,
right,
sir.
Thank you,
really
Al.
have to ask my permission, but...
Well, I do. If I play this sounder and you don't start talking, we're back to dead air.
Oh, I see what you're talking about.
See what I'm talking about?
I'm not going to do the news now. I don't care what's going on.
It's at 8:15, son.
Yeah.
You'll do it when we're supposed to do it. This early news with Al Arbogast is brought to you by Franklin Bank and Trust, hometown banking at its best. Al?
Some Kentucky Republicans are pushing back on President Trump's anti-flag burning executive order. Here's John Shannon.
The president signed the executive order on Monday, making it a crime with up to 1 year in jail for burning the American flag. That's not sitting well with some Kentucky Republicans. State Representative Jason Nemus on the Tony and Dwight show says there are other legal ways to punish someone for burning the flag.
You can't set a fire in public. You can't burn, you can't burn any flags or any leaves. You can't burn your shirt in public. So if you do it in public as part of a protest, I think the police should stop that, because we can't allow arson or anything of that nature. So that may be a way to stop it.
The EO runs afoul of the Supreme Court's ruling in Texas v. Johnson in 1989 that established that flag burning is a form of symbolic speech protected by the First Amendment. I'm John Shannon.
Attorneys say an upcoming murder trial in Warren Circuit Court may have to be delayed. 27-year-old David Anthony Prophet is currently scheduled to stand trial beginning September 23rd. He is accused of killing his girlfriend, Alexandra Hammond, in August of 2023, and then stealing her financial cards and vehicle. During a hearing on Monday, Commonwealth Attorney Corey Beck Bumgarner explained that the medical examiner who performed Hammond's autopsy will be unable to testify in person. Bumgarner has moved to depose the examiner for pretrial testimony. Bumgarner says that if the medical examiner cannot be deposed, then the trial will have to be postponed until she is able to do so. Defense attorney Jill Elkind objected to the motion and said that the medical examiner ought to testify in person. Judge Chris Corrin said that he will schedule another hearing to consider Bumgarner's motion for deposition and any other motions from the defense. Besides murder, Prophet is also charged with abuse of a corpse, first-degree strangulation, theft by unlawful taking, and 3 counts of second-degree forgery. He previously declined a plea deal after offer from that would have recommended 50 years in prison. A Kentucky grand jury has returned a no-true bill in a murder case, as we hear in this.
A murder suspect is released from custody after a grand jury fails to indict her for murder. Summer Atkins was arrested in June for shooting her 62-year-old father, Jimmy Harvey. Investigators shared details about the shooting and the accusations of Harvey sexually abusing her. While the grand jury didn't indict Atkins, her attorney submitted a motion to dismiss the case. Her bond and home incarceration has been ordered removed by Judge Johnny Ray Harris. I'm Lee Mowen.
The Bowling Green City Commission is spending $2.8 million on several pieces of equipment needed in the city. City Manager Jeff Meisel told the commission that new fire trucks are needed at both the Fire Station 3 on Nashville Road and Station 4 on Morgantown Road.
It takes about 3 years to get these jokers put together and delivered, but we're here to get this ball rolling on these 2 apparatuses. We're looking at roughly $2.4 million for both of them, about $1.2 million each. Part of this municipal order is our intent to finance. We go out and do usually a 10-year financing on these trucks, recommending the Houston Galveston Area Council cooperative purchasing agreement to use on this one to get the Pierce brand truck through Atlantic Emergency Solutions.
Meisel says another $232,000 is needed for a new knuckle boom for debris removal.
Knuckle boom is that nice, handy piece of equipment after a storm that can just reach over and grab a big old pile of trees and debris and throw it in the truck. We need a new one. This was in our FY26 budget as well. We did find this one out on Sourcewell, our cooperative purchasing agreement that we have in place. We're looking at $231,862 for this knuckle boom from Best Equipment Company. That would be used by our operations guys during and after storm events and everything that they're out there cleaning up in our 42 square miles on a regular basis.
With this purchase, city manager says that the city will have 3 knuckle booms. The city also will spend $136,475 with Kenny Machinery Corporation for the Parks and Recreation Department's golf course maintenance projects. We are 14 and a half minutes now after 8 o'clock at Talk 104.93 WKCT.
Hi, my name is Abby Thomas, and I'm here to remind you that Franklin Bank and Trust is hometown banking at its best. We opened our doors in December of 1958 and are proud to still be serving Simpson, Warren, and surrounding counties. Stop in and see us at one of our 5 convenient locations in Franklin or Bowling Green, or visit us online at fbtco.com. It's never too late to start banking with the best. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender, NMLS number 493995.
Talk 104.
93 WKCT.
The mayor of London could soon face impeachment.
The city council voted to move forward with possible impeachment charges against Mayor Randall Weddle. He's accused of misconduct and willful neglect, including overpaying employees and misusing city resources. Weddle denies the whole wrongdoing, calling the accusations political. The decision came after a contentious meeting Friday. A formal hearing on his future is expected in September. I'm Lee Mowen.
Al Arbogast, Talk 104.93 WKCT.
This forecast is brought to you by Hayes Shoes in Bowling Green, Kentucky. Hayes Shoes is the area's premier shoe store serving Bowling Green and surrounding areas. High of 81 today and no chance of rain. A low of 55 and no chance of rain continues. Same for tomorrow, Thursday. High 84, low 56, no chance of rain. Friday, temperatures are the same. High 86, low 60. But we do tick up to a 5% chance of rain Friday during the day, but no chance of rain during the evening. Current temperature 59 degrees. This forecast brought to you by Hayes Shoes in Bowling Green, Kentucky.
Hey, have you heard?
Heard what?
About that new online boot everyone's talking about?
No. What's the name?
Brunt. Brunt boots. They're all the rage. Stylish, durable, quality work boots.
I hate buying online. Can I buy in a store?
Yeah, Hayes Shoes. Hayes carries all the best brands at unbeatable prices like Brunt, Ariat, Red Wing, Thorogood, and hey, where you going?
Hayes Shoes, before they're gone.
Hayes Shoes is the area's premier shoe store, offering the best selections for men and women, safety, hiking, comfort shoes, and more. Hayes Shoes, Bowling Green, Franklin, and Glasgow.
It's Wednesday, Slim. That means we do the Krispy Kreme 3-pick 3-pack. Nevertheless, hand-breaded pork loin with gravy over there at Concon's at 1924 Russellville Road. I'm going to give Al 3 events that all occurred on this date. His job is to try to put them in the correct order from the oldest to the most recent. Your job, go from listener to caller, hopefully to winner, telling us whether or not you agree with Al or you're going on your own. 35-year-old Stevie Ray Vaughan dies in a helicopter crash near East Troy, Wisconsin, following a concert at the Alpine Valley Music Theater where he had appeared earlier in the evening. So 35-year-old Stevie Ray Vaughan. You know who Stevie Ray is, Al?
I've heard the name, yes.
Okay. He dies at the age of 35 in a helicopter crash. Really devastating news to me and my brother. My brother is a huge SRV fan. The second event, President Ronald Reagan announces that a school teacher would be the first citizen astronaut to fly aboard the space shuttle. President Ronald Reagan announces that a school teacher will be the first citizen astronaut to fly aboard the space shuttle. Again, 35-year-old Stevie Ray Vaughan dies in a helicopter crash. And the third event is Cincinnati Reds Joe Morgan, who I got to meet here in Bowling Green one time. Really nice man. Is the first to hit 200 home runs and have 500 stolen bases. Stevie Ray Vaughan tragically dies in a helicopter crash. President Ronald Reagan announces that a school teacher will be the first citizen astronaut. And Major League Baseball's Cincinnati Reds, Joe Morgan, is the first to hit 200 home runs and have 500 stolen bases. What do you think, Al?
Reagan, Joe Morgan, and Stevie Ray Vaughan.
270-780-9626 is the number to call. Remember, you may only win one prize every 30 days, regardless of the contest, unless, of course, we're doing some kind of special, unusual
and regardless
giveaway.
of whether we like you or not.
That's absolutely right.
Yeah.
That is absolutely right.
Because some of these people we know and we like.
That's right.
You know. So.
And are you suggesting we don't like some people? Do you want to? Want to name names?
I'm not suggesting we don't like them. I'm suggesting that we don't know them to like them, other than they call in once in a while for this.
Understand.
You know.
Good morning. You're on the air.
I didn't hear what Al said.
I said Reagan, Joe Morgan, and Stevie Ray Vaughan.
I think you're right, Al. I'm going with Al.
That hurts, doesn't it? It does. It does. I hate that. Good morning. You're on the air.
Yes, sir. I think it's Morgan, Reagan, and Stevie Ray.
You are a winner, sir. Donuts heading to your mailbox. Actually, the vouchers don't go anywhere. Al's going to get your contact information. Lucky listener turn themselves into a caller and then into a winner. Yesterday, Kay Nerlin brought us in some donuts on Monday. I guess she did that for Judge Executive Doug Gorman because he was here and he gets the special treatment. And then we had some left over. And so yesterday when I left the station, I took those leftover donuts with me and I forgot that and left them in the truck.
Oh, good.
And then last evening, I needed a little dessert.
Yeah.
It was almost like it came off the conveyor belt. It had been in the truck all day, shut up in the truck, and it was warm.
Oh.
And I took it inside and threw it in a bowl and a little ice cream on top of it.
Yeah, that sounds good.
It was just a fall delight is what I'll tell you.
Fall
it was.
delight.
A fall delight. Good morning. You're on the air.
John Johnson won, by the way.
Oh, John Johnson.
Yes.
Congratulations,
You're too far
sir.
ahead here.
And thank you so much for listening and for playing along. I think they still wanted to play the contest.
I do too.
You know, people tell me all the time there's a delay. And I don't always know where they're listening. The delay seems to be most when you're listening online. But there's a lot of places that you can pick up the program online that the station doesn't have any control over. Our control is over the radio and the app.
Yeah.
And Facebook Live. But if you're listening on some other streaming service, we sure are glad you're here, and we're not trying to run you off. But the delay there is something that we don't have much of a control, or not much. We have no control over. Good morning. You're on the air.
Joe Morgan, Ronald Reagan, then Stevie Ray Vaughan.
Thank you.
All right.
We already have a winner.
I'm a winner. I know I'm a winner.
No.
I'm a winner.
I did not say. You're messing with us. I know what you're doing. Thanks for
How you doing? How you doing?
I'm doing good. You sound like you had a Slim Nash night. having a Slim Nash kind of morning too. You doing all right?
Doing fine.
Doing fine. Good to hear.
I'm going painting this morning.
All right. Well.
Don't tow my car in, okay?
All right. I'll try to work on that for you.
All right, I'll send you a picture. All right. Bye-bye.
Bye. I was going to ask what he's going to paint. I hope it's not somebody's living room.
Yeah. Might want to step away from the paint.
Yeah. What are you going to paint? Model cars?
That's exactly right. Out there
After you glue them together?
Sniffing glue is what's going on there. Over at Krispy Kreme, Gryffindor Donut, Slytherin Donut, Hufflepuff, and Ravenclaw. Congratulations to John Johnson. Want to take a shot at the years now that you know the order, Al?
Joe Moore. I remember his name, and I knew he was with the Big Red Machine, but I can't remember. Let's see. I just can't.
78.
78. Okay.
Now, how long did the Big Red Machine last? It lasted into the 80s, right? But early in the 80s. I always think of the Big Red Machine as the 70s.
Well, that's when it was. I mean, they won. Probably the early to mid 70s, I would say. I don't know. They built. I'm trying to think if they refer to the stadium as the Big Red Machine Stadium. They built a stadium that I think was both for Reds and Bengals, Riverfront Stadium. It's gone. I think it's gone now. Yeah. They went back to having a stadium for each.
75 and 76 is when they won back-to-back.
Yeah, that's when they
championships.
Yeah.
And so they the Big Red Machine. They say really was from 1970 to 79.
Okay.
Is the year frame. So I thought if you knew that Joe Morgan was part of the Big Red Machine, that might help you place it in relation to, say, Reagan being president.
Did I say I'm not sure that I guess he was part of the championship teams.
He was.
Okay. But anyway, Reagan was the only one I knew. But Chris McAuliffe, I don't know how. I can't remember. She died in January 28th, 1986 is when the thing exploded. I can't remember. It seemed like they went on and on about it for years beforehand.
Did too.
So I don't know how many.
It was announced on this date in 1984.
Okay.
And then it took them 2 years of, building up, taking in applications, and different things like that.
Oh, I see. So he didn't announce. You're saying he announced that one was going to be a part of the mission.
That's right.
Not Kristen McAuliffe's name.
That's exactly right. That, and I didn't mention her name specifically so that didn't kind of confuse things. But he announced they knew that they were going to have a citizen astronaut, but they didn't know kind of who the citizen astronaut was going to be. Then they decided on a teacher. It was going to be a teacher. And then they took applications from teachers. And Krista McAuliffe
somehow
was
won.
Selected and thought she had the opportunity of a lifetime. Isn't it funny how life, and I say funny, ironic, how quickly life can change. And Stevie Ray Vaughan, 1990. So I really had them spread out. I thought that might have helped. 78, 84, 1990. I was in college. Steve Gross was a professor that I had in college who is a musician as well. The man was devastated. During class, it was, I think, right before class started, it was announced that Stevie Ray Vaughan had died in a helicopter crash. I can close my eyes and remember that moment, mostly because of his reaction to it. I mean, class went on and, life goes on and things. But Stevie Ray Vaughan, really phenomenal guitar player and an equally interesting story about, basically leaving home because he didn't have much of a home life and crawling his way all the way to the top of the blues record charts. Congratulations to John Johnson. Thanks to all our callers this morning. Thanks to you, Al, for working with me. Hopefully, you'll continue to do so tomorrow. You're not off this Friday, though, right?
I don't think so. No.
All right. We have Al the rest of the week. We'll be back here tomorrow. Talk 104 FM, 9:30 a.m. WKCT.
The Bloomberg Money Minute is brought to you by Tony Walker Financial.
Wondering how much money you'll need